Okay. So now next we'll see field level validation by using clean methods. So field level validation using which method here? Clean methods. Clean methods. Field level validation by using clean methods. So actually every field you can define one clean method, and this clean method is executed automatically whenever you call is validate method. This clean method get executed automatically whenever you call which method is validate method or is valid method. So field level validations. So field level validation. Field level validation is done using or by defining clean methods. By defining clean methods within form class, clean methods within form class. You are trying to define clean methods within form class. So field level validation is done by defining clean methods within form class. For each field, for each field, for each field, we define one clean method. And okay, this method, this method is suffixed with, this method is suffixed with field name. This method is suffixed with what? Field name. And it is an instance method. It is an instance method. When you're saying it is instance method, this method should have a first argument as what? Self. This method should have a first argument as what? Self. So it is which method? Instance method. When you're saying it is instance method, the instance method is having first argument as what? Self. So what is the syntax? What is the syntax? So what is the syntax? Is you are trying to develop a form. So class, and this is which class? Form class. And the form class inherit which class here? Form. So what is the superclass for the form is form. The superclass for the form is what? Form, right? And inside this form, you are defining the fields. You are writing a field name. So field name, you are writing a field name and it followed by type. Again, you are writing a field name and followed by the type. Again, you are writing a field name and followed by the type. Now you want to check validation for any one of this field, then define instance methods. You define instance methods. So define how you write a method by using def. And what is the name of the method is clean. What is the name of the method? Clean. And it followed by which name? Field name. For which field you want to check the validation. For which field you want to do the validation, you just write a clean and followed by underscore and followed by which name? Field name. Means you are checking validation for this field. Then you write clean followed by this field name. Clean followed by this field name, and it is having one parameter. And what is that parameter is self. And here you do the validations. You can have any number of clean methods. You can have any number of clean methods. Okay. So self, and here you are trying to do what? Validations. You are trying to do validations. Okay. For every field, you are writing one clean method, and this clean method is executed automatically. This clean method is executed automatically whenever you call is valid method. Is valid method of what? Form. Okay. This clean methods, okay, these clean methods are executed automatically whenever is valid method is valid is valid method of form is called or what is that? Invoked. So is valid method of form is called or invoked. So these clean methods are executed automatically whenever is valid method or form is okay, is valid method of form is called or what? Invoked. Right? So let me create. So let me create which validation? Field level validation, right? For example, so validations are compulsory. So validations are compulsory because to check whether input data is correct or not. To identify the input data is correct or not, compulsory you required what? Validations. Okay, right. So I'm creating another project here, not in the same project. I'm trying to do these operations. So in another project here, right? Okay, now start a project. So give the project name, right? So after creating a project, so create an application within the project. Okay, start application one. Any name you can give. Some folder name is there, might be some name is already there. So create a project and create application within the project first. Okay. So open the project. So this is your project here. So after this, within the project, open the application and inside the application folder, I'm creating one module. And what is the name of the module? Forms.py. Any module name you can give. But what is the module name I've given? Forms.py. Because I'm trying to store all the forms. Because I'm trying to store all the forms into which module? Forms.py. Right? So forms.py. So import, okay, from Django, import forms. What is the name of the module is? Forms, right? So import the forms and develop one form. Okay. So what is a form is? Student form. I'm developing one form and what is the name of the form? Student form is there, right? Student form and student form inherits form. Student form inherit which one? Form. So what is the base class for this student form is? Form. Inherited from which class? Form class, right? Yes. Now here you are trying to define fields. You are trying to define the fields. Now there is a form is having roll number. Form is having roll number, right? Okay, anything, any form you can take. But here I've taken student form, and here I'm writing forms dot, which field it is? Integer field. Okay, so what is the field name I've given? Integer field. Okay, so integer field, and you can define the maximum value and what? Minimum value. And this is which validation? HTML validation, right? So for this, you don't require to populate. For example, roll number, suppose minimum value, I'm writing a minimum value. Minimum value should be what? Sorry. So minimum value or maximum value should be what here? 100. So I'll try to define the minimum value. And what is the minimum value? I'm writing 1. So minimum is 1 and maximum is what? 100. Okay. So I try to define two things here. One is a minimum value and one more is a maximum. So, but this is the validation which is done at which level? Client level. Getting on it. It means it will try to create one input element. It will try to create one input element. It will try to create input element. It will try to create an input element with what is the input type is? When you render this, it will render like this. When you render this field, it will render like this. Input type. Input type. Input type is what? Input type is what? Number. Input type is what? Number or integer? Number. Input type is a number. And here define which value? Minimum value. What is the minimum value is? 1. What is the maximum value is? 100. So it means this validation is checked at server side or client side? Client side only. Before submitting, it will try to verify what is the minimum value and what is the maximum value, right? So these attributes are nothing but element properties. These attributes are nothing but element properties, and these validations are verified at which side? Client side. Now it is having lot of, you want to display your own error message, you can define your error messages. Error messages. Okay, error messages also you can define, and you can also define which text? Help text. Help text. Now you want to define all this just right here. Okay. What is the name of this is? Help text. Okay. What is the help text is? Roll number. Comma. I want to define error messages. Error messages. And I want to display one error message. And what is the message is? Roll number. Okay. Anyway, predefined error message will be there. Minimum value is 1 and maximum value is what? 100. But you want to define your own error message, you can define your own error message, right? But this is HTML validation or not? Yes. These are not, okay, not server side validation. This is what? Client side validation. The next one is name is there. Name, student name. I'm saying forms dot, which field? Character field. Now this is also which validation? HTML validation. This is also which validation? HTML. What is the maximum length I've given? 20. Maximum length is given 20, and course forms dot character field and maximum length. And this is also which validation? HTML validation, that is client side. That means before submitting the form, it will try to verify what is the maximum length and what is the minimum length. Okay, what is the maximum length and what is the minimum length? Forms dot, what is that? Another field is float field. Okay, float field. So how many fields are there total here? 4 fields. Now it will render this. This is input type is what? Text. And this input type is what again? Text. And what is this input type is? Number. Input type is a number. Input type is a number. Input type is a text and input type is a text. With the maximum length is what? 20. But the validations which are not possible, The validations which are not possible using attributes, then you do that validations by writing some methods. By writing some methods. Now here you are writing a method. What is the method you are writing? Clean name. What is the name of the method? Clean. I said every validation method name is what? Clean. And it followed by field name. It followed by what name? Field name. Because are you calling this method? Are you calling this method, or this method is called automatically? Called automatically whenever you call. Which method is valid method? Okay. So clean, it followed by what name? Field name. Means you are checking validation for which field? Or you are checking validation for which field? Name of field. You are checking validation for which field? Name field. Suppose, assume that I want the name should be in which case? Uppercase. I want the name should be in which case? Uppercase. Okay. Then what I have to do? Then what I have to do? Clean a name, and it is having instance method. It is an instance method. So it is having one parameter called self. Then I have to read a name. Which name I have to read? The name which I store in which one? Form. The name which I store in form, that name I should read it. The name which I store in form, that name I should read it. But where it is storing inside the form? Where it is storing inside a form? In one dictionary. What is the name of the dictionary? Cleaned data. What is the name of the dictionary? Cleaned data, right? So that is available in which class? Form class. What is the super class for student form is form. Then what you are doing is you are trying to say self dot. Okay, self dot cleaned data. Self dot cleaned data. Self means current object, and this object is inherited from which class? Form class. Cleaned data, and you are reading which value? You are reading which value? Name. You are reading the value of name, and this name is assigned to the local variable. You are reading a name and you are verifying is it this name is valid or not. If name dot is what? Upper. What is the name of the method? Is upper. Then return which data? Cleaned data. Okay, you are saying self dot. Is it this name is valid or invalid? Valid. Okay, is not. Okay, I check in reverse. Okay, not. If not name dot is upper, then I should raise an error or not? Yes, I should raise an error. Which error? Validation error. I should raise an error. Which error? Validation error. So from Django dot core dot. So there is a validators in this. There is one predefined error is there. And what is the name of that is validation Django dot forms. So validation error. So how can you raise an error? Rise. What is the name of the error? Validation error with the message. Okay. What is the message? Name must be in which case? Uppercase. Name must be in which case? Uppercase. Otherwise, else what do you do it? Return. Else return. What do you return? Self dot cleaned data. Cleaned data of which one? Name. So are you returning valid data or not? Yes. Otherwise, you are trying to raise an error. What is the error you are raising? You are raising an error. What is the error you are raising? This data is not. Yes. Yeah, you understood this? Clean, it followed by what is the method name is? Name. Name is what name? Field name. Name is what name? Field name. So if name is valid, then it return the name. If the name is not valid, then it return what? Error. And it raises an error, that is name must be in which case? Uppercase. Right? In the same way, see, for every field you write a clean method. For all the fields, you can write what? Clean method. If you are writing all the fields clean method, that is called which validation? Form level validation. Form level means you are trying to check for one field, all the fields, all the fields. All the fields validation you write in one method. If you are writing all the fields validation in one method, that you call it as what? Form level validation. But instead of combining all the validations in one method, you are writing for every field one method. And these methods also called by which method? Clean method, right? So clean in name. See, you find a clean methods. Clean method. What is this? Clean. Django form. Okay, form and field validations here. In Django form, the clean method and its related field specific methods are used for custom validations and data normalization. So types of clean methods, clean field names here, clean field name used for validating a single specific field. It is called after the form field own default validation. Form dot clean used for cross validation for logic depends on which fields? Multiple fields. If you want to check for multiple fields, you are trying to use which method? Clean. If you want to check for one field, you are using a clean. It followed by which name? Field name, right? So this is what will happen. Field specific validation. Field specific validation, and you are trying to raise which error? Validation error. Rise validation error if the data is not valid. I said self dot cleaned data dot get. So cleaned data is dictionary, and from dictionary you can get values either by using key. You can use the method called which one? Key. So from dictionary, how many ways can you read the data? By using a key, by using get method, by using get method. What is the difference between reading it by using key and by using get method? If I'm reading it by using key directly, if the key is not exist, then it rises which error? Key error. But if I'm reading it by using get method, if I'm reading it by using which method? Get method. Get method. If the key is not there, it doesn't raise this error, but rather than it returns what? None. If the key is not exist, it doesn't raise this error, but rather than it returns what? None. So when if the key is not exist, if the key is not exist, rather than generating an error, it returns none. So how many ways can you read data from dictionary? Different ways. Now here I am using a name. It read the value of name from which dictionary? Cleaned data dictionary. And where is this cleaned data dictionary is in which class? Super class. What is the super class for this class is? Form. And is it self is referring to the same class or not? Yes. This class is inherited from form. If you want, you can write self dot clean data, or you can write directly which one? Super dot. Super will refer to which class? Super class. Anything you can use it because there is no variable with the name called cleaned data. Now, next one is course validation. Right here, course, sorry, clean. So, name should be prefixed with what again? Clean. Always a clean followed by what name? Field name. Clean followed by which one? Field name, right? And this is an instance method, and this method should have what? Self. And you are reading a course equal to self dot cleaned data, and you are reading which value? Course value. You are reading which value? Course value. If course not in, if the course not in Python, if the course is not in Python, Java, and one more is AI. If the course is not in any one of this, then I'm raising what? Error. What is error is? Validation error, invalid course. Course must be, course must be, course must be what? Java, you'll write it. Python, Java, Python, Java, or what? AI. Python, Java, or AI. Else, else, you return. What you return? Course. You can write course, written course, or self dot cleaned data, what? Course. Anything you can write it because we read the data and store in which variable? Course variable. Anything you can return. Self dot cleaned data of which value? Course value, right? So how many validations we are doing? Two validations. One is name validation and one more is course validation. Name must be in which case? Uppercase. And course must be Python, Java, AI. Course must be Python, Java, or AI. If it is not equal to any one of this, then immediately it raises which error? Validation error. Okay, right? So we develop a form and then this form should be rendered into what? Template. This form should be rendered into what? Template. Template. Then come to the views. Okay, develop a view for displaying which form? Student form. Okay, develop a view for displaying which form? Student form. Now this is student view and it is having one parameter called which one? A request. Create a form. Which form it is? Student form. Okay, student form from. Where is my form is? From application dot forms. Import what? Student form. I created object of which class? Student form. Is it this is empty form or not? Yes, this is empty form. And this empty form I should render into what? Template. Render this form into a template. I'm saying response. Response equal to render. Request to comma. What is a template is? Student. Okay, student template. Student template dot HTML. And you are sending which form? Student form. Because you should insert this student form into which template? Student template comma as which parameter? Context parameter. What is the name of the object is? Student form. And what is the object is? STUD form. And return response. Now you have to create this template or not? Yes. What is the name of the template? Student template dot HTML. Inside this template, you are inserting which form? Yeah. Inside this template, you are inserting which form? Student form. Create. Create one folder. And what is your folder is? Templates. And inside this folder, create one template. What is a template? Student template dot HTML. Now in this, you should insert that form. Insert the form. Insert the form. I'm saying form. Form. You have to create a form. Okay, form. Form. And here I'm creating some table because I'm inserting as a table. I'm inserting as a table and I'm trying to define some width. I'm trying to define some width. And here I'm inserting the form. Insert the form. What is the name of the form? What is the name of the form? STUD form dot as what? Table. You are rendering this form as what? Table. Means all the elements are inserted as what? Table. Okay, right? Yes. Now this is a view and view will generate a response with which template? Student template. In the student template you inserted which form? Or in the student template you inserted which form? Student form. You inserted student form as what? Table. You inserted student form as a table, right? Yes. Then after that, define the URL. Define the URL for this. Okay. So from application dot views import stud view. How you are calling this view? By using one name, stud view. I give the same name. Okay, then student view. Then go to the settings.py and install the application. What is your application is? App. Install the application and define the template path. What is the path is? Base directly slash. Where is there in templates? Base directly slash templates. Right? Then after that, run the server. Go to the terminal. Okay, go to the terminal and here say Python manage.py run server. Okay, right? Now just run the server here. So give the view name. What is your view name? STUD view. Now you can see some mistake we did. Form. In form, helper text. We have given helper text. What is the helper text? Roll number. I can give helper text like this. Enter roll number. Okay. So below this field, there is help text or not? Yes. If you don't want helper text, remove that helper text. So I just removed this helper text. I don't want to display the helper text. So now there is no helper text. Okay, now see the source code. View page source. You can see input type is a number and name is a roll number. Minimum is 1, maximum is what? 100. Input type is a text and name and maximum length is 20. Input type is a course and maximum length is what? 20. Input type is a number, name is what? Fees. But these are field level validation or not? Yes. But this validation is HTML validation. This validation is what? HTML validation. It will try to do this before submitting the data. But is it any button called submit? No. You have to create one button here. And what is that button is? Submit button. Just go to the template. Go to the template. And in the template, I'm inserting, what is that button I'm inserting? Input type. Input type equal to what? Submit. And value equal to submit. I take the value as the same. Okay. So then table column input type equal to reset, input type equal to reset, and value is what? Clear. Okay, reset and value is clear, right? Suppose roll number is there. I enter roll number is -1. I enter the roll number as -1 and name is given and course is given. Okay, and fees is given. Okay, where is submit? Refresh this. Enter the roll number -1. Enter the name, enter the course, enter the fees, and click on submit. Once you click on submit, what will happen? It will try to send this request toward view. But before sending it, it will try to do some validation at which level? Client side. Those are HTML validations here. Value must be greater than or equal to 1. Value must be greater than or equal to 1 because you are given in the form what is the property you define? Minimum value is 1, maximum value is what? 100. Minimum value is 1 and maximum value is 100. If I say 120, so if I say submit, Value must be less than or equal to what? 100. Value must be less than or equal to 100. Getting or not? Right? So I'm trying to give roll number is 1. But once I click on submit, what will happen? This form is submitted. This form is submitted to which view? See here, it is submitted to which view? Student view. Then student view, what you should do? You should load this data into the form. This form data is there? No. This form data you have to put inside what? Student form. Why you are storing into a student form? To verify is it this data is correct or not. Okay, first it is displayed empty form. First it is displayed which form? Empty form. Empty form. This is which form? Empty form. I send a request to which view? Or I send a request to which view? Student view. And student view is created which form? Student form. This is which form? Empty form. And this empty form is rendered into which template? Student template dot HTML. I'm typing URL and pressing enter. This is called which request? Or I'm typing URL and pressing enter. It is called which request? Get request. It is called which request? Get request. Get request. I can write here. If the request method is what? Get. Create which form? Empty form. Create which form? Empty form and render that empty form into what? Template and send as a part of a response. But if the request method is post, I enter the data. I enter the data and after giving the data, what will I do? I'll try to click on submit. And you are submitting this form again to the same view or different view? Same view. But this time I'm submitting it by using which method? Post method. I'm submitting it by using which method? Post method. Post method. Now go to the template and here write form method. Form method equal to what? Post. Now this view is handling how many requests? Tell me, this view is handling how many requests? Two request methods. One is get, one more is what? Post. If a request dot, if request dot method double equal to which one? Get. If the request method is a get, you are creating which form? Array. If the request method is a get, you are creating which form? Empty form. You are creating empty form and this empty form you are rendering into what? Template. Empty form and return. Array. Empty form you are rendering into template and return response. Otherwise, if the request method is a post, post means you enter the data and submit, then this data comes to the same view or not? Yes. But this time what is the request method is? Not get. This time request method is what? Post. Then come to which block? Else block. Come to which block? Else block. In else block, what do you do? In else block, what do you write? You have to check this input data is correct or not. How? By storing into form. You have to store again into what? Form. Form object. You have to create form object. Student form equal to student form. You are loading which data? Post data. Okay. Request dot what? Post. So whatever data is there in post is a dictionary, right? It contains the key and value. What is the key now? Roll number. What is the value? 1. What is the key? Name. So this is a name. Course is a, this is a course. Fees is a, this is a fees. Now this data is loaded in which form? This form, this data is loaded in which form? Student form. After loading, you have to check, is it this data is correct or not? Then how you are checking if stud form dot is what? Valid, is valid. Whenever I say stud form dot is valid. Method call which method? Clean methods. It call which methods? Clean methods. Now tell me, how many clean methods are there? Two. One is clean name and clean course. Clean name and clean course. If it is valid, then it returns true. Otherwise, it return what? False. It returns true. Otherwise, it return false. If it is a true, what do you need to do? Or if it is a true, what do you have to do? You have to say, this data is valid and something message you have to display it, right? You are displaying some message by rendering into template render, or you can use HTTP response. Okay, we'll just say form from django.http import. These forms are very important here. Okay, because forms you find throughout Django. So response equal to HTTP response, and I'm writing uh, data is data is valid. Data is valid. Okay. Then return what here? Response. Otherwise, you have to return the response with which form? Which form? Student form. Same data. With the same data you have to, or with the same data you have to generate form. And this form contain even errors. This form also contain what? Errors. Your form object is also having errors. Form generate errors or not? Form generate errors. How many errors? This clean name method generate which error? Validation error. Okay. And at the same time, this clean course rises which error? Validation error. But where this error is stored in? Where this error is stored in which object? Form object. These errors are stored in which object? Form object. And you can display those errors by rendering into what? Template. You can display those errors by rendering into what? Template. Okay, template means here I'm writing a response. Response equal to render, render request comma. Okay, request comma. What is a template? stud underscore template dot html comma context. What is a context is stud form. And what is the name of the object? Stud form. Stud form is the object name, and return what? A response. Now, are you rendering same form into the template or not? Yes. Means same form is this template render with the data, the data what you input. Along with that, it is also having what? Errors. Form. Form object is having one attribute. Form object is having one attribute. And what is the name of the attribute is errors. Form attribute is having one. Okay, I'll show you form errors. So there is one attribute called, and what is the name of the attribute here? Error. See here, field dot errors, or form dot non-field errors, field dot errors. Okay, see here. In Django, form errors are automatically generated when bond form is valid method. These errors are categorized into two types: field specific, and one more is non-field. Okay, general errors. So field errors are associated with field name. This mail already is in use. You can access. You can simply say what? Field dot errors. Field dot errors. See, this is how you render all the errors available in what? Form. Okay, right? Yes. You can display all these errors. You can display all these errors. How you display all the errors? By using which one? Form. Form is having what? Field dot errors. Form is having what? Field dot errors. You have to iterate this. You have to iterate this for field in form, and for error in field dot errors, and field label dot which one? Error. Which error you want to display, just display that error. That's all. Very simple. If you want, you can display that error message, right? Yes. So return response. Okay. Then come to the template. And in the template, you can display all the errors. No problem. You can display all the errors. But when you display the errors, if there is errors, if there is errors, then only you display what? Errors. If there is no errors, will you display errors? Huh? No. If there is errors, then only you display the errors. You check the condition. If form dot, what is that? Errors. If form dot, errors. Form dot, errors. If there is an errors, then only display what? Errors. I just write here form dot, errors. That's all. Okay, I'm not using a loop here. And if is end with what? Or if is end with and if. If is end with what? And if. If form dot errors, which form? What is the name of the form? STUD form. What is the name of the form? STUD form dot errors. Then you are saying form dot errors. But if there's no errors, is it this block is executed? No, this block is not executed, right? So just run the code, enter the roll number, enter the name, Naresh, enter the course, Python, enter the course Python. So Python is a course and enter the fees, then click on what? Submit. CSRF token. So whenever you are generating, okay, sending a request using which method? Post method is compulsory. How to generate which one? CSRF token, right? So enter the roll number, enter the name, and enter the course, and enter the fees, and click on submit. You can see data is what here? Valid. Because I've given in which case? Uppercase. And course is what? Python. But I give the course as a C++. What is this? Course is valid or invalid? Invalid. Submit. You can see course must be Python, Java or what? AI. Now we displayed this error or not? Yes. Okay. Then I try to input AI and then click on submit. You can see data is what here? Valid. Getting or not? Suppose name is there. I just give the name in which case? Lowercase. If I say submit, name must be in which case? Uppercase. So is it giving this error message above or not? Yes. But can you customize this? Yes. You can customize this by displaying manually. You have to display it what? Manually you can customize it, but for that you have to display all the input fields manually. Along with which fields? Error fields. Along with the error fields you have to display it. Okay, right? Or use a for loop. Okay. Now I try to give the name, but this is server side validation or client side? Server side. Submit. Now you can see data is valid. Yeah, this logic you understood. Bolo here. This logic you have to understand. So this view is trying to handle how many methods? Two methods. One is get, one more is a post. So when you type URL, that is called which method? Get method. Then what will happen? It will create one empty form. What will happen? It will create one empty form, and that empty form is rendered within template and return the response. Okay, if the request method is a post, you are storing this data within the form and you are checking is it that form data is valid or not. So whenever you invoke is valid method, this calls which method? Clean methods. And if the data is clean, then this method returns what? True. If it is a true, I'm just displaying one message saying that this data is what? valid, and return the response. Otherwise, you are trying to render which form? Error form. You are rendering which form? Error form. Into which template? Student template. You are rendering which form? Error form with the data as well as error messages. With the data as well as what? Error messages. You are rendering that into which template? Student template dot HTML and generating response. Are getting or not? Right? So these are field level validation. For every field, you write one clean method. But you can write, okay, you can write one method where you can verify multiple field validation. That you can call it as form level validation. This is which validation? Field level validation, right? So just to see here, clear? This example is clear. Forms are important here. If you don't understand, tell me again. Okay, right? Last one, miss. Which last one? This one, huh? This one, huh? If method, if condition here. Either, this one, huh? Here, student form dot is valid. I said no. Whenever you say student form dot is valid, this is valid method calls. This is valid method calls which method? Clean methods. It will call which method? Clean methods. Okay. And clean methods is valid method calls which method? Clean methods. If all the clean methods executed successfully, if all clean methods executed what? Successfully, then it returns what? True. Otherwise, it return what? False. If it is a true, you are saying data is valid. But if any error is raised, come to which one? Respond. Request template. And you are rendering which template? I mean, which form you are rendering? This is a form with what? Alright, this is a form with what? Errors. This is a form with what? Errors. Now, this form is rendered into which template? Student template. That's the reason inside the template, are you write one condition or not? Yes. If the student form is having errors, then display what? Errors. If the student form is having errors, then display the errors. So you can see multiple errors also. You can see multiple errors. At a time, you can see multiple errors also. Just see here. Uh, because database is not there. No. I've used database. No. When migrations is when you use database. Okay, na? Right? Yeah, you can apply it. Migrations belongs to database. STUD. Okay, STUD view. If you press enter, it is called which request? Get request. Empty form. Okay, now you enter roll number, enter the name, enter the course, enter the fees. Now if I click on submit, this form is submitted to which view? Same view. But what is the request method? Post. What is the request method? Post. Form is submitted using which method? Post. Post. See here. Method equal to what? Post. Now it will come to view. This condition become false. Come to else. Now this post data is loaded into what? Form. And then checking, is it this data is valid or not? Now you can see name must be in uppercase and course must be Python, Java or AI. Correct or not? Right? So these validations are client side or server side? Server side. Because after submitting the form. Okay, to the server is loading that data into the form, and then it is verifying it, right? Yes. I'll copy this code, miss dot. Yeah. So, right now, this is how you are writing a template, right? So, then you can also do the validations, field level validation using clean methods. Okay. And form level form level validation. So, here, form level validation is nothing but validating multiple fields. You are trying to validate what? Multiple fields in one method. So form level validation is nothing but validating, okay, multiple fields. Validating how many fields? One field or multiple fields? Multiple fields. That you call it as which validation? Form level validation. Validating multiple fields. Okay, validating multiple fields, that you call it as form level validation. So for performing validations form level validation, okay, so the clean method of superclass. Superclass. What is a superclass is? Form. Must be what? Override. Which method should be override? Clean method of which class? Superclass. You have to override clean method of superclass. So whenever you call is valid, it will call which method? Clean method actually. It will call which method? Clean method. This clean method calls field level. This clean method calls which methods? Field level validator methods, validation methods. So there is one method it calls. All the methods is what? Clean. And this is a method of which class? Superclass. Now who call the clean methods? Clean method of which class? Superclass. Who call the clean method? Is valid method of what? Form. Are you calling clean method? No. You are calling which method? Form dot is valid. Is valid. That will call which method? Clean method. And clean method calls which method? Clean methods. If it's available, otherwise it doesn't call. Right? So you must override a clean method of superclass, and that is nothing but form. Right? So what is a syntax? What is a syntax is you are writing like this: class form class name, which form you want to develop it, then form class name forms dot, what is the name of this is form, and define the field name and type, write the field name and what, type, and field name and type like this. Then I want to verify multiple fields. I want to verify validations of what? Multiple fields. How you verify multiple field validation? By writing or by overriding one method. What is the name of the method is? Clean. Override. Which method? Clean method. Overriding method. This is which method? Overriding method. And in this method, you can call which method? Which method? Super dot. Super dot. What is the method is? Clean. You are calling the clean method of which class? Super class. Why? To read which data? Cleaned data. How can I get the clean data? By using which method? Clean method of which class? Super class. And then here you write a logic. You write a logic for validating of multiple multiple what fields, multiple fields. Okay na, right? You can write individually one method for each field, or you can check all the field validations in one method. And what is that method is? Clean. Okay, right? But here you are combining everything, but there you are writing individually. So which one is easy to read? Individual, but rather than combining everything in what? One method. Okay. Yes. Okay. Let me tell you one more project. So close the folder. Now we are creating one form. Suppose we are creating one form. User registration form. Which form? User registration. Not so many fields. I'll take only name. So name is there. Okay. User name. I'm not using any database. Okay, na? Name, username, and one more is what? Password. Name, username, and password. Okay. So these are the things. And then after that, I just click on what is that here? A register. There is a register and there is a clear. Two are there. One is a register and one more is a clear. So register is there and one more is a clear, right? So, but this is form. Which form? Array, this is which form? Django. This is which form? Django form. Okay, you are rendering this form into template. What is this template? Register template dot HTML. So you are rendering this template. Inside the template, you are rendering which form? Django form, right? So let us talk about this. And what are the validations? Name. Name is a text field, right? Should contain only what? Alphabets. It should contain only alphabets. And username. Username what? What is a validation? Alphabets. Yeah. Alphabets, digits, and one special character. What is that? Underscore. Username should have only one special character called underscore. Then password. And password, how many alphabets? Four alphabets. Four alphabets, two digits, and two special characters. Four alphabets, two digits, and two special characters. Now, these validations, I want to do it, right? Yes. So, but all these validations, I want to do at which level? Field level or form level? Form level. So you are trying to check multiple fields, not one field, multiple fields. Okay, right? Okay. Then next, create what? Project. So go to the terminal. No database I'm using. Okay, right? No migrations required. No migrations are required. Okay. So create a project. Yeah. You have to practice here. Because this is web development, right? Until unless you don't practice, then problem. Understood? So web development, one program only, it will take a lot of time. Single program with 3, 4 lines only, you don't practice. But here you have to write how many lines? So many lines, right? So until unless you don't practice, it is somewhat difficult, but you try to practice. Okay. Because a lot of things are there. We are just learning how to create template, how to render the form, how to check the validations. Getting or not? So in the mod, I mean, when it comes to ORM, I said about only one model, but we need to work with multiple models. Multiple models means multiple tables. And how you generate relationship between multiple tables, like one to one relation, one to many relation, many to one relation, many to many relations, and how to retrieve the data from multiple models. All these things you should know it. Correct or not? Right? So we'll see that first create a project, start a project. Now a lot of things are there, but put in a Django. Okay, create the project and after creating a project, create an application. Python manage.py, start a application and create application. Okay, right? So, okay. The next thing is, and tomorrow at 11:15, I'm starting a free workshop here, like logical programming. Okay, right? So those who want, they can attend. That is, we'll try to see some problems, problem solving. Okay, problem solving related with some topics. Like suppose in interviews, they ask you a lot of questions on list, strings, right? So we'll try to learn along with the concept, some problems related with the strings, list, nested list, functions, recursions. We'll try to see all these things, right? So tomorrow I'm starting at 11:15. It is both offline as well as online. Okay. If you want, you can attend offline. If you want, you can attend online. Your wish. That is coding skills. There's only coding. Coding means logical. How to improve your logic. We'll try to see some problems in Code Chef, Geeks for Geeks. We'll try to solve some programs. Okay, which are asked in interviews. Okay, right? So if you are interested, you can attend. Okay, na? Right. It is a free. It's a free. Okay, no charges, nothing. Right. Uh, how many? How many days? We'll see. If you people are interested, I'll take more number of days. If your people are not interested, we'll see up to Saturday. Up to Saturday, we'll see. Based on your interest. Okay, if I want, I'll continue with one more week. Okay, so taking, I don't have any problem. But always it depends on students. If student shows interest, we'll give more information. If student is dumb, then how here? Timings is 11:15 after this class. After this class, okay, right? 11:15, okay, right? 11:15, not AM. 11:15 AM, okay, right? I'll share the details in the Google. I mean Telegram. I'll share the details in Telegram. Tomorrow I said here, not today. Tomorrow, okay, not today onwards. Mohit, आज नहीं यार कल से. Okay, right. Okay, now I want to check all these validations. I want to do all these validations. Okay, create, hmm, create over, open the project. Create one module. Create one module. Create one module. Tell me what is that module is? Forms.py. Forms.py. How you create a form? From what? Django dot forms. From Django, just import forms. Okay. So forms is a module and Django is a package. Forms is a module and Django is a package. Clear? Right. Then there is a class. Now tell me what is a form? Register form. Register form. Forms dot form. Forms dot form. Okay. You have seen yesterday some job opening, right? Have you seen? You don't see job openings. You see only Telegram. I mean, Instagram. You see only memes and start laughing yourself. Huh? Yes or no? You see only memes and start laughing yourself. If you are laughing yourself, then you are called what? बोलो यार. क्या बोलते हैं उसको? अपने आप में हंसते रहते हैं ना उन लोग. उसको क्या बोलते हैं? यस. मालूम है ना? So you are giving revenue, right? Huh? Yeah, you have to submit. It's a bond. Bond means original certificates you have to submit. Bond, how bond? Bond आजकल bond का no value. Okay, right. How they do bonding is you have to submit original. अभी bond लेके उनका भाग जाता है. Then no use, right? But certificates say के नहीं भागता, no, no. Originals you have to submit. Okay, right? Yes. The problem with that, but you should work for 2 point how many years here? Abhishek, कितना बोला यार? 2.6 years. After that, now what they asked, you know what they asked? They asked Flask and Fast API, basic, I mean, good communication skills, 6 months training. After that, stipend, and on successful completion, salary will be 2.4 lakhs per annum. Bond is 2.6, and that is a company. बेसिक जावा नो प्रॉब्लम यार. जावा कुछ नहीं है. पाइथन आता है ना आपको? राइट. यस. So create a form, name, name equal to forms dot, which field it is? Character field. And the name, okay, name validation is there, no? What is that? It should contain only alphabets. But here I'm trying to define the element validation, and here I'm saying maximum length should be some 20. Maximum length is what? 20, right? So, yeah. Then next one is username. Username forms dot which field? Character field. And here I'm giving maximum length is 15. And I try to define label. What is the label is username. Otherwise, it will generate the label with what name? Uname. It will create a label with what name? Uname. But I don't want to generate a label with what? Uname. I want to generate a label with what? Username. Okay, then next one is password. Okay, password. Forms dot, which field? Character field. But character field means is it input type is a text or not? Yes. If input type is a text, whatever text you type, is it visible or not? Yes. But password should not be visible. Then is it any field? Is it any field called password field? No. There's no field called which one? Password field. Password field is not there. Then the fields which are not provided by Django form, you use HTML fields. Use which fields? HTML fields by using one attribute called what? Widget. By using one attribute called widget. And what is a widget you are using? Password uh, widgets. Password field. Now you have to import widgets. Forms dot. So forms dot password input. Forms dot what is that? Password input. Password input. Password input means you created which input you have given? Password input. But it is which field? Character field. It means form, Django form is not provided which field? Password field. Then you should implement which field? HTML field. HTML field. Then how can I implement that HTML field? By using which one? Widget. Then I use a widget. What is a widget is? Password input. And in that case, this character field is converted into which field? Password field. Correct or not? Right? Then next is then define this. After this, you are trying to check the validations. But how you are checking validation? By overriding which method? Clean method. Overriding which method? Clean method, right? Directly right. What is the method you are writing? Clean method. So this clean method is a method of which class? Which class? Form class. Form is which class? Super class. Okay. Now clean method, and this will call the super class which method? Clean method. Right? Yes. What this written? What is written? Cleaned data. What it returns? cleaned data. Just right here. Super dot. Hmm. What it returns? Clean data. Any variable name you can give. Data. Hmm. You can use directly, but is always required to call the clean method of which class? Super class. So that it returns what? Data. And this data contain how many fields? One, two, three. Check the validation. If name should be in which one? Name only alphabets. Tell me if name dot what is okay. If not name dot what is what alpha. Then rise. What do you rise? What do you rise? Error. So what is the error is? Forms dot only. Forms dot which error? Validation error. So name should contain only, yes, name should contain only alphabets. Contain only alphabets. Okay, right. This is which error? If name is not is alpha. His name is not alpha, it raises error. If then next is second validation is what? This is name. If name is not valid, then it rises which error? Validation error. Which validation error? Name should contain only alphabets. Okay. Then next one. Next one you are verifying it. What is the next one you are verifying? Password. 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 What is a password is? The password or username. Username should contain alphabets, digits and one underscore, right? Okay. So name. Where is the name? Data of data of what? Name. Data of name dot is alpha. Okay, second validation is you have to check with the password. So here I'll write password, right? If data of if data of which one? Password. If the password is given, then here you are trying to check the password should contain only alphabets. How many alphabets? Four alphabets. How many digits? Two digits and two special characters. Okay. Then password is there and one more is what? Name is there. So name. Now tell me. Import. Import what? RE. RE. RE is for RE. RE is for what? Regular expressions. Why use the regular expressions? Input validations. Why use the regular expressions for? Input validation. If data of name, then how you check this? How you check this here? Okay. How you check this? Dot full match. Full match. Full match written which object? Match object. If it is match. If it doesn't match what it returns? None. If it doesn't match what it returns? None. If it is matched, then it return match object. Here, if it doesn't match, it returns none. Okay, you store in one variable. Now tell me, what should I write? Name should contain which letters? Alphabets, digits, and one special character called underscore. Those are called which characters? Word characters. And how you represent word characters? Backslash W. What is backslash W? Word characters. What backslash W represent? Alphabets, uppercase, lowercase, digits, 0 to 9, and only one special character. How many repetitions? How many repetitions? Array, repetition. How many times? Plus, plus means one or more. Plus means one or more. One or more repetitions. One or more repetitions. If M is equal to none, if match object equal to none, then rise. When it returns none, if it doesn't match. When it returns none, if it doesn't match, then I'm saying forms dot. Which error? Validation error. So name should contain which name here? This is which name? Username. This is username. And username should contain alphabets, digits, and underscore. Okay. Now this is which error? Validation errors here. How many conditions are right? Array, how many conditions are there? Two. One is one is name validation and one more is username. Then next is which validation? Password. Password validation. But if there is one error first, then it doesn't go forward. Next means form level validations will display the errors one by one or all at a time? One by one. Until you don't rectify first error, it doesn't verify what? Second one. Why? Because rise error means control is moved to what? Caller. Then it doesn't come back. It doesn't come back. So how many errors it will show you at a time? Only one error. If the name is correct, then it will check for what? Username. If username is correct, then it will check for what? Password. But it doesn't display all the errors. It doesn't display all the errors. No. Then next you have to check which one? Password. Okay. So that we'll discuss. Not today because it takes some time, right? So tomorrow I'll tell you how to check this validation. And then next we'll see inbuilt validators. So Django forms also provided some inbuilt validators. Means you don't require to write some methods and that methods are provided by whom? Django itself. And what are those inbuilt validators? Also we'll discuss. And then we'll go for model form. This is which form? Standard form. Second is what? Model form. Okay. So that we'll discuss not today, but we'll discuss tomorrow. Please try to practice. Okay. Develop some UI. Uh, Practice it. It is very easy, right? So we'll see tomorrow. Thank you. Right.